Here we are. This always I never know whether it's going to take a minute or a few seconds but anyway, good morning and welcome to the segment Sacred Heart Connections. I'm really excited because not only am I doing this for 1 million meditators, but I'm going to be starting it at the Yoga Barn. 1 million connections. Wow, that's something new. Sorry, I meant to say Sacred Heart Connections is now going to start up at Yoga Barn. I'll be teaching that every Sunday at the Yoga Barn from 2 to 3, which is amazing. But welcome everyone, and thank you for bringing your beautiful energy into this session today. Today I wanted to share with you, because of what's going on in the planet, and we're receiving more light. I just like to call it light. So as we open up and shift and let go of the past, I guess, or the old way, the old paradigms, we allow space. So what happens is, if we're waiting for the old life to return of what it was, say 3 or 4 months ago, we're actually going to block the light from coming in, because we're not returning to that. We're stepping into a new way of being, a new world, and what that looks like yet, I'm not sure, but it'll be more, I have a feeling it's going to be more love, more compassion, more care, more sharing, more people waking up to the world that want to live in peace and harmony, people being aware that war is created through man, through a thought, through or a religion about a thought, or thinking, about a religion. There's many things, systems, commercialization of things, big corporations breaking down because they're holding on to an old paradigm of, well, it's stress basically and fear. If I don't have that job, or if I don't earn that amount of money, things can come up and block you. So that's just a little bit about what we're going through. So it's about allowing that to be and rest and move away from it, to come into the self and keep asking yourself every day, what is it that I need to see? What will awaken me to the new of what I need to embrace right now in this moment? So a lot of it is talking to the self, and when I say the self, what I'm meaning is the heart. So your heart has this higher intelligence. It's scientifically proven, because they've realized, and this was only in the 90s, so it wasn't that long ago, that the heart holds its own intelligence, and it's got receptors in it that radiate out and pick up energy, and it also picks up wisdom. It's like a little channel, and if you looked at something that can radiate out love and light, look at the heart. It's also the gateway to the soul. So we're waking up that we have this power within us, that we can create a world, whatever we want, if we put our focus there. So for example, using, because this goes into intuition, if we know and understand how intuition works, we will know that when we sit in quietness in our own time, taking a moment to check in with our heart, and then move into using our imagination and what we want to create, that we will create that if we stay focused with that thought. So if we wanted to create more peace and harmony in the world, ask yourself, what does that look like for you? Does it mean that you have to leave your job? Does it mean that you need to move countries? Do you need to sell your house or sell some material items to come back to that place of love and peace? So a little bit about intuition, because a question I was asked through the week, and someone said to me, this experience, she had an experience with someone who thought she needed some help with something, and they said, sort of step over here, and it was a female and a male come behind her and said, and she needed help with something, and then he said, why don't you come over here, because I can see that there's something on your back and I'll help you remove it. And he was guiding her down into like a laneway at an airport, and she didn't feel safe. So she said, and she left, and he was very polite. And she said to me, he was very polite about everything. And she said to me, so was that my intuition or was it fear? Because she wasn't sure. And I said, well, the fear, if you were fearful, what would have happened is you would have not sort of realised this isn't safe. I'm just going to say no, thank you, because what fear will do is bring in guilt and shame. So if someone's being polite and being helpful, we're taught to believe that person to be safe and you'll be okay. But what happened, she was a little bit confused because when he was being very kind to her and as I said, and very polite, and then she said, but what confused me is the way I felt when I thought this is not safe. I'm just going to say thank you very much and leave, which is what she did. And that's her intuition, because your intuition only wants what's good for you and what makes you feel good. Where fear will make you feel things like, because I said to her, what will happen is if you feel like I left and maybe he was okay, your guilt and shame will come up, and that comes from fear, like fear of doing something and you think it's wrong. So you trusted your intuition. It just, your intuition said this isn't a safe situation, just leave. And you were polite to him and said thank you very much and leave. So there's sort of a little example of the difference. But if you wanted to develop your intuition, because it made me think about her questioning and whether or not there's many other people out there who struggle with intuition or are confused about, intuition and what it actually means. So this is my take on it and what I do on a day-to-day basis, or if I'm wanting to make decisions about something and what's right for me. First of all, always make space for your, if you're making decisions, especially big ones in life, because if you try and make space in a anxious or nervous way, you're actually in your ego, and the fear will come in because it's saying, no, you have to make a decision now. And anybody that puts pressure on you about making a decision, excuse me, I've got a dry throat chakra. Sorry, I'm just drinking ginger, just pure ginger and hot water. So if someone puts pressure on you about making a decision, it's their anxiety actually that's putting pressure on you. So it's time to step away and take a moment before you make a decision, because I know in the past, like years ago, when I wasn't using my intuition, I actually didn't even know what intuition was. I would just feel like I have to make a decision today, or something's going to happen, something's going to go wrong if I don't. For example, a job, like what I remember once I had 2 job offers offered to me at the one time, and they were both really good jobs. And the one that I didn't take turned out to be the better job, as opposed to the one I did take. And I just had like a moment then and go, wow, yeah, my life would have been totally different if I'd have taken that job. But anyway, but I felt pressured, like I have to make this decision by tomorrow. I didn't sleep well making the decision, and I ended up making a not so good decision, but I took a job that probably wasn't that good for me. So these are the things. Always take time, and if you're unsure, just keep, doing a gentle meditation. I have many free ones on my website, so just or my Instagram, checking my link, but you'll see little meditations in there, and I'm sure there's one about intuition. If there's not, let me know and I'll do one, or I'll check later and I'll do one. But it's checking in, and if a decision feels like, so the reason why you're checking in, I'll just digress for a moment, you're checking into you into your intuition. I wrote about this in my book that I wrote about 3 years ago, Heal to Live, about checking into you. So if you wrote the word intuition, you'll see it's just there, into you. And then you feel, until you get that feeling into your heart, you will make not a good decision. So take a moment and just feel into your heart. And just ask it. If you don't get it, just go off and do something else. Usually what happens when we do things that give us joy, or hang out with people that are fun, or we might take ourselves off to the movie and watch a comedy or whatever, and then try and do it, you will receive the answer. All it means is you've got an imbalance there on your frequency, your energy field, and it's not allowing you to receive intuitively the right decision. So there's many things, many ways to do this. I know when I'm around certain people and my heart is just so open and I'm having fun with them, and I feel the inner child coming out and I'm so playful, that is the best time for me to start to create my future. You never do it when you're feeling low, because you're coming from a place of fear or guilt or shame, of one of those. And I find too, what really helps is gratitude. Like, have a gratitude, and if you forget like a day or two or something, it doesn't matter. Just go back to it when you're ready. All it means is something else has happened and your energy's been moved to somewhere else. So what I like to do, I recorded yesterday a 7-day challenge, and it'll be going up sometime next week. I have someone to help me with that, but it's a 7-day challenge, and one of the challenges is to give gratitude every day. Write 7 things that you're grateful for, and that can be anything from I'm grateful for my new car to something I'm grateful to just wake up today and breathe and know that I'm connected to nature, to the universe, to everything, everyone. It can be, that's the scale, and it doesn't matter, because it's your gratitude. And just keep doing it, because there's something that happens in the heart when we start to give gratitude. So if I said I'm so grateful to be doing these sessions every Saturday on 1 Million Meditators, gives me an opportunity to share my knowledge, share my experiences, my wisdom, and I write that and I feel that, and then what happens is you're putting an energy out that it's like goes out a frequency that starts to align, and you see and synchronicities happening. Like, since I've started on 1 Million Meditators and doing this, I've learnt so much about the virtual world, about doing this. I'd always dreamt about doing this and had a desire to go live and even have my own radio segment and be doing this. So this is amazing for me to have this opportunity, but it's a synchronicity that happens, and it means that you're in flow. This is part of your intuition. It means when the synchronicities happen, it means you're in flow and you're aligning with your energy. You're intuitive. You're just so aware. You know how this all works. So one of the hardest thing, and this came up in the conversation as well, one of the hardest things for many people is forgiveness. Because if you don't forgive, what happens, you can also create an energy block unconsciously in the subconscious. So we need to clear all channels, including forgiving those who have done wrong by us. It doesn't mean that you're saying it's okay for them to have done what they did. What it means is you don't want to hold any blocked energy within you. So forgiveness came up, and it was very hard. It's very hard for some people. I myself, personally, I've had to give many people, especially in some traumatic experiences in my childhood, as I know many of you have had. But once I did this and worked on this forgiveness, I call it the forgiveness prayer, and there's a process that I do and that I share with others. I take them through this just very gentle, easy process, and get them to use their visual. We do a breathwork meditation together, and then I get them into the state so they're able to forgive. And it's very, very powerful. So if you're wanting to forgive, and it's going to be part of the challenge is to write down 7 people that you want to forgive, or you're going to ask for them to forgive you for something you may have done to them. And the reason why we do things to people and then we realize we've made a mistake and we shouldn't have done that to them or made that decision that's been hurtful to them, that's when we realize we need to do something to change it. And it not necessarily, we don't have to try and track them down. And I remember there was a TV show on, I can't remember the name of it offhand, but he was going through 100 people that he needed to that he'd done bad things to, and he wanted them to forgive him. So he tracked them all down, and that was the TV series. It was a funny comedy, because there was always funny things happening when to find the person that he wanted to find and ask for forgiveness. It sort of ended up going, he needed more, like the list never ended, because he'd always end up doing something that wasn't that good, and he'd have to ask for that forgiveness as well. So it was, just a very funny, humorous show to watch. But these are the things that are very powerful. If we can step into our power. Now, if we looked at it like, so we've got the mind, the body, and the spirit, and the spiritual side of us is so full of love and forgiveness, unconditional love, acceptance. It's knowing that you are connected to everyone and everything. And that forgiveness is part of that, to stay connected to that. So you're forgiving so you can stay connected with your higher self, might be a better way to put that. Not because you think that what that person did to you is okay. So, that was sort of another thing that I shared about the you could write for anyone who wants to forgive. And this does work. If you want to forgive someone that's done something to you, you write down, say, 7 people in your life that you might have been bullied at school, because the list can be very big or it can be very short. And if there's not 7 things, it doesn't matter, whoever they are, because the scope might be not only very broad, but the trauma might be minor trauma to really harmful trauma. So depending where that is. But you can write down the 7 things, and then write down 7 people that you're asking for forgiveness. So like I said, you don't have to go to them. You just do a visualization of you and them having a conversation, and you saying, I'm so sorry for what I did. I didn't know that would hurt you so much. Please forgive me. And visualize them saying that they do forgive you, and you hugging them. I find that is really powerful, and it shifts energy. And keep doing it, because what will eventually happen is the person picks up your vibe. So, it works a little bit like, and this is intuition and putting energy out there and high vibe energy. It's the same as if you were thinking of someone, and then you say, I haven't heard from them for a while. And next thing, or the next day or two, the phone rings, or you get a little message from them and go, wow, you're in my thoughts, and you've messaged me. So, that's a synchronicity. Another thing, I'll talk a little bit about synchronicities. Another synchronicity, especially in your spiritual journey, is, and if you feel like you're not supported or you're feeling lonely, because one thing I do say to people, you will never be lonely when you find you, like the spiritual you, the part of you that is full of unconditional love, is fun, is joy, is peace, is everything. is divine, and we all are. We all have this. We just haven't been taught to reconnect with it. But when you find that, you will never be lonely, and you will never let things bother you in a way that you did in the past, because you know that that's just in flow with life. But when we find the spiritual us, we are in a place of just total love and unconditional love. And as I said before, that's the best time. And when we're in that love, that's the best time to start channeling the higher dimensions, the angels, the angelic realm, the light beings from above. Whatever they look like to you is how they look. You know, there's names for them. Celestial beings, Pleiadians, star seeds are up there. They're on this planet. So, yeah, anyone that you want to channel, it's the best time to do it when your heart is opened. Like I say, these are angel wings. And you'll know when angels are around because they give you little calling cards, little reminders. So you might see triple numbers, you might see feathers, white feathers. I've had them many times in my healing room. I just walk in and here's one little white feather, and I think, wow, thank you so much, because I have a huge angel. I'll try and record one weekend. It's just early for me to get everything to where I am in Ubud, but I have this huge angel, and she's beautiful, and I call her Neve Bodhi. I had her painted off a picture that I took at a friend's house who had this beautiful angel, and now her energy comes through, and I just love her. But yeah, there's butterflies. You might see butterflies, a bird flying close, so you might just look up at the sky and just feel this deep connection, like something there is helping you or looking over you. This is called synchronicity and alignment with something. I mean, not synchronicity, it's called aligning with your higher self, and you're just knowing that it is the best time to start thinking about what I want to create, and things just start aligning. So I hope that this segment has been very helpful to you. Remember, there's all the information and the links below if you need to contact me or reach out, or maybe if you want more information. But also remember, there's one other thing I'll just quickly touch on. Inner child. So your inner child is where all your past subconscious patterns lie, and that's another thing. Your inner child trauma, or doesn't necessarily be trauma. It can be just a little incident that happened, and because we can't self-regulate, we're not taught to self-regulate, or we couldn't as children, we perceive things to be in a way that aren't really true, but we hold that as like a trauma or an emotional block within. So be mindful of that too, because that will block your intuition. It'll block, if it's not released, it will block you coming in, stepping into your higher self with a sense of freedom and grace, because it'll keep returning. So the idea is to really get in tune with the spiritual side of you, and part of that is your inner child and honoring your inner child. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Thank you for your beautiful energy. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Don't forget, point your lips up to the heavens. Keep smiling and spread your love, love, love. Keep that little light within your heart shining bright. Namaste.